Dealers don't like admitting this, but some trikes just aren't selling. Not slowly, not at all. Across the country, three-wheel bikes are sitting for months, stacking up as leftover model years and quietly getting price cuts that never make it into the ads. Floor plan interest is eating margins, and the only way out is discounts, big ones. That matters to you because when dealers can't move inventory, the market flips from seller's pride to buyer's leverage. Today, we're breaking down 13 trike motorcycles dealers can't sell and exposing where the massive discounts are really happening. Watch this to the end because the last one on this list shows exactly how far these prices can fall and when it finally makes sense to buy. Number 13. Indian Challenger Trike. Power and modern engineering do not always guarantee broad acceptance. When a liquid-cooled American V-twin meets a three-wheel touring platform, reactions tend to split. Built on a respected touring foundation and converted through recognized production companies such as Roadsmith and Hannigan, this platform carries serious highway credibility from a distance. It holds unmistakable muscle. The fixed fairing project's authority and the wide rear stance adds planted confidence at rest. For riders who have spent decades balancing heavyweight cruisers, the added stability can feel like relief rather than compromise. Slow-speed maneuvering becomes controlled instead of tense. Long interstate stretches feel steady and deliberate. Still, tradition runs deep. Some seasoned riders see innovation as strength. Others see departure from familiar air-cooled heritage. It does not erase identity, it reframes it. The experience shifts from lean-focused rhythm to measured steering input and wide-track security. For men facing physical limitations, yet unwilling to surrender touring ambition, that shift can mean continuing to ride rather than stepping away. Under the fairing sits strong performance credentials: 122 horsepower, 1768 cubic centimeters, 128 pound-feet of torque, dual front disc brakes with anti-lock braking system and single rear disc brake, inverted front fork with upgraded rear trike suspension, a wet weight of approximately 1,200 pounds, a seat height of 25.6 inches, and a starting price around $38,000, depending on conversion specification. Despite its modern strength, another platform higher on the list challenges perception in a very different way. Number 12. Harley-Davidson Triglide Ultra. There comes a point when balance shifts from challenge to necessity. Knees stiffen, hips protest long stops, and the idea of steady footing at every light starts to make sense. That is where a full-dress three-wheeler steps in, offering stability without asking a rider to give up the open highway. For many seasoned riders, that promise carries real weight. The silhouette is unmistakable. Wide rear stance, large tour trunk, batwing fairing, cutting through wind the way it has for decades. Comfort is the priority here, not corner carving. Long days in the saddle feel less punishing when wind protection and a proper backrest are part of the design. The ride feels planted, deliberate, almost locomotive in its presence. There is pride tied to that size. It says you still ride distance, not just around town. At the same time, the bulk demands respect. Parking requires thought. Tight roads call for patience. Ownership becomes a commitment, not a casual decision. Riders who understand touring know exactly what that means. Underneath the bodywork, the Triglide Ultra produces approximately 90 horsepower from a 1917 cubic centimeter Milwaukee 8 117 engine, delivering around 125 pound-feet of torque, equipped with anti-lock braking system, front telescopic fork, with rear independent suspension, a wet weight of about 1,254 pounds, a seat height near 27 inches, and a starting price of roughly $35,499. Market pressure did not arrive overnight. It crept in quietly as new competitors and changing demographics forced touring trikes to defend ground once taken for granted. If this breakdown is helping you see the trike market differently, take a second to like the video and subscribe for more straight shooting analysis. Share your experience below. What are you seeing at your local dealerships right now? Number 11. Harley-Davidson Freewheeler. Stripped down metal and wide rear fenders send a different message than full touring chrome. This machine speaks to riders who want three wheels without giving up the feel of a cruiser. No towering tour trunk, no full fairing blocking the horizon. Just bars, engine, and a stance that looks closer to a hot rod than a highway couch. The appeal is straightforward. You keep the low seat height. You keep that broad V-twin pulse. Parking lot confidence comes standard, especially for knees that do not appreciate balancing 800 pounds at a stoplight anymore. It feels manageable manageable compared to its fully dressed sibling, yet it still carries presence. Still, the decision is not simple. Riders who have logged serious miles understand compromise. Without a large fairing, wind hits harder at interstate speeds. Storage shrinks, long-distance comfort depends more on accessories than factory design. Some appreciate that simplicity. Others miss the touring armor once they are 3 states away from home. In everyday use, the freewheeler delivers about 90 horsepower from a 1868 cubic centimeter Milwaukee 8 114 engine, producing roughly 119 pound-feet of torque. Equipped with anti-lock braking system, front telescopic fork, and rear twin shocks with solid axle, a wet weight near 1,118 pounds, a seat height around 26 inches, and a starting price of approximately $30,199. Simplicity alone could not hold the line forever, because styling shifts and internal competition soon complicated decisions for riders already weighing loyalty against practicality. If you're thinking about buying, open the description for the gear and accessories that actually improve daily riding on a trike. Number 10. Harley-Davidson Road Glide 3. The fixed shark nose has always carried a certain authority. It cuts the wind with purpose and tells anyone watching that distance is part of the plan. When that familiar fairing meets a 3-wheel platform, the result feels both familiar and slightly unexpected, like a trusted touring machine widened for stability rather than speed. The stance is broad and planted. At highway pace, crosswinds matter less. Long sweepers feel steady instead of tense. Riders who have spent decades balancing heavy touring bikes at stoplights often appreciate that confidence. There is less strain in traffic and more focus on the ride itself. It keeps the touring attitude intact while removing the low-speed gamble. Still, adding a third wheel changes more than balance. Steering effort increases compared to 2 wheels. Parking space grows. The visual presence is bold, yet it competes internally with other touring options that some riders already know and trust. That overlap can complicate buying decisions for men who have ridden road glide platforms for years. In its current configuration, the Road Glide 3 produces about 90 horsepower from an 1868 cubic centimeter Milwaukee 8 114 engine, generating roughly 119 pound-feet of torque. Equipped with anti-lock braking system, front telescopic fork with rear independent suspension, a wet weight around 1,143 pounds, a seat height near 27 inches, and a starting price of approximately $31,999. Heritage styling carries weight, yet the broader industry was already experimenting with radical layouts that challenged long-held ideas about balance and control. Number 9. Can-Am Spyder R RIS. When 3 wheels first pointed forward instead of back, plenty of seasoned riders crossed their arms. The stance looked aggressive, almost automotive, yet it promised motorcycle sensation with added front-end grip. That contradiction drew attention fast. Some saw innovation, others saw a departure from tradition. The early sport-focused layout leaned into sharp handling rather than long-haul comfort. Low wind protection, tight ergonomics, and a chassis that favored twisty roads over interstate miles made its intent clear. This was not built to mimic a cruiser. It targeted riders who wanted something different, maybe even disruptive. Stability control and traction systems added confidence, especially for those curious about 3 wheels, but unwilling to sacrifice cornering feel. Reception split down generational lines. Riders raised on V-twin torque questioned the high-revving personality. Those coming from sport bikes appreciated the planted front end and predictable steering. It carried no saddlebag heritage, no chrome nostalgia, just modern lines and an assertive profile. For some, that was refreshing. For others, it lacked the familiar rhythm of a big twin pulse beneath them. In its standard configuration, the Spyder RS produced approximately 100 horsepower from a 990 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled engine, delivering around 80 pound-feet of torque. Equipped with anti-lock braking system, double A-arm front suspension with rear swing arm, a wet weight near 725 pounds, a seat height about 26 inches, and a starting price around $16,499. Sport ambition fractured expectations further, proving that 3 wheels could chase speed instead of distance, and splitting opinion across generations of experienced riders. Number 8. Can-Am Spyder RT. Comfort sometimes outweighs tradition. When long miles matter more than leaning angles, riders start paying attention to wind protection, storage, and seat support instead of chrome and exhaust note. That shift in priorities is where this touring-focused three-wheeler found its footing. It was designed to cross states with ease, not to win style points at a rally. The fairing is wide and purposeful, large windscreen, integrated storage compartments, passenger backrest that feels closer to a touring throne than a perch. Stability systems work quietly in the background, allowing riders to focus on distance rather than balance. For men who have already logged decades in the saddle, that kind of predictability can feel like a blessing rather than a compromise. Still, there is an adjustment. Steering input is different from a traditional motorcycle. The ride feels planted up front, almost automotive in its front-end confidence. Some riders embrace that planted sensation immediately. Others miss the subtle lean and countersteer rhythm they spent a lifetime mastering. The experience is stable, capable, and undeniably practical, yet it does not replicate the feel of a big twin rolling through open highway. In its touring configuration, the Spyder RT produces approximately 115 horsepower from a 1330 cubic centimeter engine, delivering about 96 pound-feet of torque, equipped with anti-lock braking system, AA arm front suspension with rear swing arm, a wet weight near 1,021 pounds, a seat height around 27 inches, and a starting price of roughly $28,699. Comfort-focused engineering widened that divide, offering undeniable stability while quietly asking traditionalists to reconsider what truly defines the long-haul experience. Number 7. Can-Am Spyder F3. A low stance and stretched-out bars can change how a machine feels before it even moves. That was the idea here. Instead of leaning toward touring bulk or sport aggression, this design aimed squarely at cruiser posture. Feet forward, arms relaxed, profile sitting closer to muscle car than adventure machine. It was an intentional shift, meant to catch riders who wanted attitude without two-wheel balance demands. The seating position invites a laid-back approach. Adjustable foot pegs allow riders to fine-tune leg reach, which matters when joints have seen decades of miles. Steering remains firm compared to a traditional motorcycle, yet the chassis feels more planted than its sport-oriented sibling. It does not chase peak corner speed. It chases comfort blended with visual presence. Still, converting lifelong V-twin loyalists is never easy. Many older riders measure character by exhaust cadence and engine pulse. A smooth, high-revving triple engine delivers competence, but lacks that familiar rumble some men grew up with. For those open to different engineering, the experience feels stable and predictable. For others, it can seem more calculated than soulful. In standard trim, the Spyder F3 produces approximately 115 horsepower from a 1330 cubic centimeter engine, delivering about 96 pound-feet of torque. Equipped with anti-lock braking system, AA arm front suspension with rear swing arm, a wet weight near 877 pounds, a seat height around 26 inches, and a starting price of roughly $22,199. Cruiser posture entered the conversation next, attempting to bridge tradition and innovation, though not every seasoned rider felt convinced by the compromise. Number 6. Can-Am Ryker, a lower price point, changes who walks through the showroom door. When three wheels become accessible without a long financing commitment, the audience shifts. Younger riders, urban commuters, and first-time buyers start paying attention. That shift does not always sit comfortably with men who remember when motorcycles required clutch control and deliberate effort. Compact proportions define the ride. Short wheelbase, minimal bodywork, automatic transmission that removes the need for hand and foot coordination. For some, that simplicity feels liberating. For others, it feels like something essential has been removed. There is no clutch feathering at a red light, no gear selection ritual before rolling onto a highway ramp. The experience is efficient and direct. Practicality is undeniable. Maintenance intervals are straightforward. Storage options exist, though modest compared to touring platforms. It serves daily transportation more than cross-country ambition. Riders who measure machines by long-haul capability may see it as limited. Those who value ease and approachability see opportunity. Performance figures reflect its purpose. In standard configuration, the Ryker produces approximately 82 horsepower from a 900 cubic centimeter engine delivering around 59 99 pound-feet of torque. Equipped with anti-lock braking system, AA-arm front suspension with rear swing arm, a wet weight near 594 pounds, a seat height around 26 inches, and a starting price of roughly $8,999. Affordability then shifted attention entirely, bringing new demographics into three-wheel ownership and altering the culture that older riders once recognized as familiar. Number 5. Polaris Slingshot. Some machines blur the line between motorcycle and car so completely that the debate becomes part of the ownership experience. Sitting low to the pavement with side-by-side seating and a steering wheel instead of handlebars, this three-wheeler challenges traditional definitions from the first glance. It does not ask you to lean. It asks you to strap in. Open air remains part of the draw. Wind still moves through the cabin. The sense of exposure is real, yet the control layout feels automotive. That difference changes who feels comfortable behind the wheel. Riders who have spent decades counter-steering through curves may find the transition curious. Others appreciate the familiarity of car-like inputs combined with the rawness of open road exposure. Its presence at rallies often sparks steady conversation among riders who pause to examine its unusual stance. Some view it as a practical gateway into power sports for individuals unwilling or unable to balance two wheels confidently. Others classify it as an entirely separate category, closer to specialty recreation than traditional motorcycling. Licensing classifications vary by state, reinforcing the perception that it occupies its own regulatory niche rather than fitting neatly into long-established motorcycle tradition. It delivers spectacle, strong acceleration, and undeniable visual impact, though it lacks the upright saddle posture many associate with classic American touring heritage. In standard configuration, the Slingshot produces approximately 178 horsepower from a 1997 cubic centimeter engine, delivering around 120 pound-feet of torque. Equipped with anti-lock braking system, double wishbone front suspension with rear single swing arm, a curb weight near 1,750 pounds, a seat height of roughly 12 inches from the floor, and a starting price around $22,999. From there, automotive influence crept closer, blurring the distinction between motorcycle and car, and forcing purists to reassess where the boundary truly stands. If you value honest, veteran-level motorcycle insight without the corporate spin, make sure you're subscribed. We track the market shifts, the engineering realities, and what they mean for riders who still put serious miles on the road. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Street Glide Trike. There was a moment when three wheels tried to wear pure Batwing attitude. Built only from 2010 through 2011, this platform carried familiar street presence into territory many riders were still unsure about. It looked right from a distance. Up close, it demanded a shift in perspective. The wide rear stance gave it authority at stoplights. The integrated trunk added real-world utility without softening the profile. Yet the culture had not fully adjusted. Riders raised on countersteer and lean felt cautious. Wind protection remained strong, and the seating position preserved long-distance comfort. Pride was intact, but the experience was undeniably different. Beneath the familiar silhouette sat proven touring hardware: 78 horsepower, 1,584 cubic centimeters, 110 pound-feet of torque, dual front disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, telescopic front fork with dual rear shocks, a wet weight of 1,193 pounds, a seat height of 26.5 inches, and a starting price of $29,999. Short production years made it rare, though another three-wheeler ahead sparked even sharper debate among seasoned riders. Number 3. Can-Am Spyder F3 Limited. Comfort used to mean a wide saddle and a tall windshield. Then three wheels redefined what long-distance support could feel like. Introduced as a touring-focused evolution of the cruiser-style reverse platform, this machine aimed directly at riders who wanted stability without surrendering highway presence. The stance is low and stretched, with floorboards that allow natural leg extension, integrated hard luggage, and a supportive passenger backrest signal serious mileage intentions. On straight roads, it feels planted and composed. At parking lot speeds, it removes the strain many seasoned riders quietly admit they feel. Still, the front twin-wheel layout changes the rhythm. There is no lean. Steering input feels deliberate, more mechanical than instinctive. Some riders appreciate that precision. Others miss the organic sway of a traditional two-wheel cruiser. For men who value torque and long-range comfort, it offers a practical solution to aging joints while keeping touring ambition alive. It does not replace heritage. It reinterprets it. Its touring credentials are backed by measured performance. 115 horsepower, 1,330 cubic centimeters, 96 pound-feet of torque, dual front disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, and single rear disc brake. Double A-arm front suspension with rear monoshock, a wet weight of 1,021 pounds, a seat height of 26.6 inches, and a starting price of $26,999. Even with those numbers, another platform near the top challenged expectations in an entirely different way. Number 2, Yamaha Niken. Two front wheels leaning in unison challenge long-held assumptions about what a motorcycle should look like. At first glance, the geometry seems almost mechanical in its complexity. Dual front forks, additional linkages, and a stance that appears wider than tradition allows. Yet once rolling, the experience surprises many riders who expected awkward handling. The leaning multi-wheel system allows the chassis to bank into corners while maintaining a broader front contact patch. That translates into strong front-end confidence, especially on uneven pavement or in wet conditions. Riders accustomed to trusting a single front tire may find reassurance in that extra grip. Steering input remains familiar because it still uses handlebars and countersteer principles. Where hesitation arises is visual identity. For men who grew up equating motorcycles with symmetry and mechanical simplicity, the layered front suspension can appear overly complex at first glance. The additional forks, linkages, and visible hardware suggest engineering layered upon engineering. It performs with confidence and measurable grip, yet it does not resemble the stripped-down silhouettes that defined earlier decades of riding. Some riders genuinely respect the innovation and acknowledge the safety benefits. Others quietly question whether that added complexity creates distance from the raw, unfiltered connection to the road they have valued for most of their lives. In its standard configuration, the Niken produces approximately 115 horsepower from an 847 cubic centimeter engine, delivering around 65 pound-feet of torque, equipped with anti-lock braking system, dual leaning telescopic front forks with rear monoshock, a wet weight near 594 pounds, a seat height around 32 inches, and a starting price of roughly $15,300. Engineering brilliance challenged visual comfort once again, demonstrating that technical capability can outpace acceptance when tradition shapes expectation more than performance figures. Number 1. Honda Gold-Wing Tour. Some machines command respect the moment they enter a showroom, then stay there longer than anyone expected. A Honda Gold-Wing Tour trike often fits that pattern. Start with one of the most respected long-distance touring motorcycles ever built, then add a factory-style or dealer-installed conversion, and the price climbs quickly into ultra-niche territory. The result is impressive on the road and difficult on the sales floor. For the right rider, it can feel like the perfect answer. For a dealer, it can become expensive inventory that waits for a very specific buyer. The appeal is easy to understand. The Gold-Wing platform already carries a reputation for comfort, refinement, and serious highway ability. Add a three-wheel conversion, and it offers stability at stoplights, confidence in parking lots, and long-mile comfort for riders who still want distance without the strain of balancing a heavyweight touring bike at every stop. For men protecting aging knees, hips, or lower backs, that shift can mean continuing to travel instead of cutting riding seasons short. It preserves dignity, range, and comfort in one machine. Still, the market narrows fast, the buyer pool is small, and most shoppers at this price level arrive with strong opinions. Some want a factory Harley trike. Some prefer a reverse trike layout. Others want a standard Goldwing and no conversion at all. That leaves this platform in a difficult middle ground, admired by many, purchased by far fewer. Many are built to order for that reason. When one sits on the floor, it can tie up serious money and force pricing conversations dealers would rather avoid. In converted touring form, a Gold-Wing Tour trike is typically built around an 1,833 cubic centimeter flat six platform, producing approximately 125 horsepower and about 125 pound-feet of torque, equipped with anti-lock braking system, double wishbone front suspension with rear trike conversion. Suspension hardware, a curb weight commonly well above 1,200 pounds, depending on conversion specification. A seat height around 29 inches on the base platform, and a total build price that can climb deep into premium, touring territory once the conversion is completed. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these have you seen sitting at your local dealer, and what kind of numbers are they really asking? Drop your experience in the comments. If this breakdown helped you read the market a little clearer, hit like, subscribe, and stick around. We're here to make sure you buy smart, not proud.